I've got the valve train installed. It's not been tightened or with any of the valve lash set yet. So everything is loose. I'll just tell you how I went through this. I put all of the lifters in first, and before I inserted the lifters, I used the Melling, basically the pre-assembly lube. I turned the lifters upside down and squirted the lube on the bottom as well as around the sides of each of the lifters before inserting them in their bores. For all of the rockers and the push rods and the balls and the nuts, they were all cleaned using mineral spirits, and they were all inserted back in the order that they were removed. So this is number one cylinder here, the exhaust and the intake for each of those. I kept track of so that the rockers still touch the same valves that came out. So it's the same valves, the same valve springs, the same rocker. So essentially, it's except for the lifter, everything else is with its running mate. So that should make things a little bit easier lining up. Okay, so I'm going to go through and adjust the valve lash, and the way I'm going to do this is through the running order. And so I'll start with number 1, and then we'll go to number 8, and just follow the firing order all the way through. I'm going to set it 0 valve lash. Essentially, what I'm going to get to first is at 0 valve lash. I'm going to continue to turn this until I feel resistance, and once I do that, then I'm going to tighten the nut a quarter to a half turn, so somewhere in that range. And I'll be doing both the intake and the exhaust pair for each cylinder. So in order to get so right now I'm at top dead center. In order to get the next top dead center for the number 8, all I have to do is turn the crank 90 degrees. And when I do that, number 8 will be on top dead center. When I'm done with that, if I turn the crank another 90 degrees, then number 4 will be on top dead center. I'll make the adjustments, turn it another 90 degrees, and then adjust number 3. And I'll just continue going through that firing order and making the adjustments on the firing order. I'll only have to spin the crank twice to go through that complete order. And when I'm done, it will be, all the valve lashes will be set. The other thing I'm going to do before I set any of the lash, I am going to put a little bit of the Lucas Oil assembly lube into each of the rockers, just so that the balls inside of the rockers have some lubrication before getting started. So basically, I'll lift up this, pour a little bit in, and make sure that that ball has the lube underneath it. So I'll go through all of those first, and then to make sure I hit every single one, and then I'll start the adjustment. Okay, so all of the rocker balls have been lubricated. I also want to just point out, if you don't see it in the valley here, you'll see some of the pre-lube that's in. Let me get a little bit of light on this. You'll see some of the pre-lube in the valleys, and that came off. It was basically scraped off when I put the lifters in their bores. The lifters also had been soaked overnight in motor oil, basically to get the oil inside of the lifters so that they're basically ready to be preloaded. I wanted to make sure that all the oil was in there before doing any of the preload. Okay. As I said, we're starting with number 1, so I've got both the exhaust and the intake here. I've tightened them down a little bit, but there's still a lot of looseness to this, so it's just starting to get to where I need it to be. So what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to start spinning. As you can see, my fingers moving here. I'm just spinning as I'm tightening and making sure that what I'm waiting is till I get some resistance, and that's where the zero lash is. All right, so it looks like I've already hit that. I'm going to back off a little bit. Okay. Keep backing off just a little. Okay. You can hear the clicking, so it's moving back and forth. I'm going to go a little slower now. Spinning. I'm getting no resistance. There's my resistance. Okay, so I'm going to bring let me back off a little bit here so you can see the whole deal. Now I'm going to go, so I got resistance and I'm not getting any sort of movement up and down. I'm going to go a quarter turn, and that is my preset. So I'm at the top, so basically 90 degrees. There's my quarter turn. So that's my preset. Now I'll do the same thing on the intake side. Again, you can hear it going up and down. So it's still loose. Okay, good. Now I'm going to back off just a little. All right, so now I've got 0 resistance, and now I'm going to come back in. Okay, there's my resistance. I'm going to back off just a little bit because I may have come in a little too fast on that. A little bit more. I got to get the feel right here. All right, so there's 0 resistance and it's moving. There's my resistance. Okay, so from there, again, I'm going to come up to the top and then do a quarter turn. Okay, now, so the valve lash is now set for the #1 cylinder. We're good there. I'm just seeing if the resistance is similar in both, and they are. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take there's my can of oil for the lifters. I'll get those out of the way. And now what I'm going to do is just turn the engine, or crank the crank 90 degrees. So I'm going to go from, let me see if I can I'm going to look at the dot here, and I'm going to have that dot so that it's facing to the right. I'm going to give myself a little bit of room here so I can watch. And once it's facing towards the right, I've got 90 degrees. Okay, there is 90 degrees. All right, so now I do the same thing on cylinder number 8. I got a lot of movement there, so I gotta bring it way in. Okay, now I've got free movement here. A lot of stop still slop. Okay, now it's tighter. All right, now so I'm going to back off just a little bit. Okay, I'm going to bring it in. There, now I got resistance. Okay, I'm going to back it off just a little bit. Yep, okay, so that's where my resistance, no resistance at this point. All right, there's 0 lash. Okay, quarter turn. Ready? Come on. Quarter turn. Okay. And it's still spinning, but it's at a higher resistance. All right, same thing on this one. Just spin it around for a while. Okay. Now it's still jumping. 0 resistance. Right about there. Okay. Now I got some resistance. I'm going to back it off just a little and see if I can get it lined up again. A little bit more. All right, 0 resistance. All right, right there. So, quarter turn. There we go. That's preset set. Okay, so the next 90 degrees, I'll be looking at adjusting number 4. So I'll just go through that one turn, and then I'm going to take that off camera and finish the rest up. So another 90 degrees. So I'm looking at the dot at the bottom. Where is it? Gosh darn it. That should be it right there. I need to verify with a light source. Yep, that is pretty darn close, but I want to get it closer. There, that's at bottom dead center. All right. Now, number 4, same routine. Get that all tightened up. All right, that's no resistance. Good. Looks like I just got resistance. Okay, I'm going to back it off. All right, there's my resistance. Now a quarter turn. Okay, that intake is done. Let's go on the exhaust for number 4. Okay, that's just rattling. There, I think is where resistance is. I'm going to back it off again just to verify it and get it in smoother. I just like doing that. Okay, there's resistance. All right, now 90 degrees, quarter turn. Okay. Yeah, no, that one's still not right. Okay, I got a false positive. One more time. All right, there's resistance. Okay, 90 degrees. Yeah, okay, that's the same. That's got the same feel to it. Okay, those two are the same. All right, now the last quarter turn, and I'm going to get to cylinder number 3, and I don't need to show you that, but that's the process that I walked through to get all of my valves lashed, and it's as easy as that. It makes it real easy when you don't have the intake valley on and you've got the timing chain. You can see it, so you can watch the dots and where they're located. It's a heck of a lot easier doing it that way, that's for sure. All right, manual turn. We'll see how this works. Watch. I'm gonna put this in higher speed and probably replay it just to make sure everything is looking the way it should. That's 2 full turns of the engine.